All right, time to call this meeting to order then. So we have people from College Hill, Pioneer, WSU Today, Business Community, Pullman School District, and then Pullman Police Department. Okay. So, firstly, we need to approve the minutes from January 11th and February 8th. You guys should have received an email with the minutes. Did you guys have anything you would like changed on those before those are approved?
A motion to approve both months' minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Those are then approved. I'll get those signed and to Darby after the meeting. Okay, so we did have a new member application. Everyone, I think, has met Berto before because he gave a presentation with us about student involvement and his role in the community. Now he has applied for the WSU faculty staff alternate position, and we are going to be hearing from him today. Just a brief introduction of yourself and your interest in being on the committee. Would be great to hear from you. So, would you mind standing at the podium for us?
So hello everyone. My name, I can wait. Oh, you're good. My name is Berto Sorello. I work at WSU as the Assistant Director within Student Involvement. Had the pleasure of presenting to you all several months ago in regards to my capacity on campus and how I work with students and what we do and how you may engage with them throughout this capacity. But since that time, it's been an interest in speaking with Corey, as well as just experiencing what it is you all do for a few brief moments. It's been my interest to join the group and just to see if I can fill the role as a WSU faculty staff representative and lend my expertise to help do what you all do and help bridge the gap between the police here and the rest of the community. So that's my interest here today. I'm a problem solver and a doer, and I think that can always be helpful depending on what it is you look forward to doing. But that's what I offer for you today, and happy to answer any questions you might have about my candidacy for this role.
Does anyone have any questions for Berto? Perfect.
Fantastic.
You know, what we used to do is we used to have them step outside while we discussed it. However, since we are now posting this online, that's pretty pointless, I think. We're going to talk
I
about
suppose,
you.
because he's going to hear any criticisms we have.
I am happy to challenge your systems and infiltrate your designs.
Damn it.
So you go and say whatever you need to say. I'm going to go and...
Well, I guess you don't have to step out anymore.
So Berto met with Corey and I as part of this process and discussed kind of what Berto felt about the committee and what he felt that its role was and what he could contribute. And I know I felt that he has a lot to offer us. He has a really good perspective and some really good background that could be really good for the committee. So I'm recommending that he be approved.
Yeah, and he's my supervisor at student involvement. He's very organized, very diligent. He's a very respectable person among the community. He's extremely involved. He's on the board of conduct at the university. He was on the university police board as well. And he just has a lot of general passion for our community, and you can really see that in everything he does. So.
You were here in January, right?
I think it was January, yeah.
Yeah, I know when you were here, it seemed like we really liked you. We all got to know you pretty well, so.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, I'll make a motion to nominate Berto for our position as the WSU faculty staff alternate.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. You may join us up here.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yep.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
A large audience to cheer you on today.
Sure. Thank you so much for the motion.
Yes.
Now you're officially on television. All right. So we did have on our business today, we were going to have a special guest, Tanya, but unfortunately she gave me a call 15 minutes before the meeting and she had another thing come up, so she's now being moved to our next agenda on May 9th. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was some future meeting agendas. I've noticed on a lot of the WSU community web pages lately that we've had people post about thefts and such like that, you know, car thefts, like minor thefts going along on campus and off campus. So I thought about maybe inviting some people into the committee to talk to us about their concerns about theft in our community. So
Community members you're talking about?
yeah,
Okay.
so I thought about going on there. I wanted to talk to you guys about this first, what your guys' opinion was, but we could have both Tanya come next time and talk to us about the Graduate and Professional Student Association, but also have community members come here and talk to us about their concerns regarding theft rates in our community. What do you guys think of that kind of idea, and how do you recommend approaching it?
Do you have people that you know that you think would be interested in coming?
Well, I have interacted with a few various people online and a few people who have come and talked to me knowing, you know, our position and our role here, just saying that they are concerned about theft in our community. So I thought about reaching out to a few people who I've known who have had experiences with theft in the community to come and talk to us about their concerns and whatever like that.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, because if the function of this group is to do outreach and to help bridge that gap, perhaps there's a pattern of things that provides us an opportunity, one, to educate about how to protect yourself from those opportunities, but two, how to identify maybe suspicious activity that might lead to a break-in. I know those patterns are all out there, and I think you find, at least within the WSU community, patterns kind of related to the crime, whether it's a target of laptop or a target of vehicle or a target of whatever it may be. But also, if no one else is doing this outreach, then it sort of sounds like it falls in our lap to
Right.
to reach out to folks and see if there's anything else we can help with.
I think maybe we want to try to get somebody here, not necessarily from the public, but somebody that can come in and talk about preventative measures or that type of thing.
I think we've got one here. Phyllis, did you have some experience
Yes,
with this?
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, about 2 years ago, middle of the day, we were gone from noon till 4 and came home and did not realize anything had happened. But when I went to bed that night, I found our screen of the window under the bed. So someone had come in, you know, it happened to be 9/11 of 2014. But the bedroom window was open, well, like this far, but all they had to do was slide it open, remove the screen, and come in. But the only thing they took was change out of a change machine and stuff. But, you know, it was a horrible feeling. I don't leave the house now without barring the windows, barring the doors. So it was, you know, kind of scary.
Does sound scary.
And I think we have community examples, and then I know of high school examples, which look a little bit different, and then, of course, those look different than campus examples, but then apartment land examples as well. For example, you might know all your roomies, but getting a lock on your bedroom, things like that. So I think there's a lot of different representation in the community that would cover the various theft concerns.
Right.
Yeah.
So another idea I thought about approaching this was just posting something saying, okay, next police advisory committee meeting, we're going to have just a theft awareness event. And we want to invite anyone who's either experienced theft or is concerned about theft, come to talk to us and join us at the meeting to talk about their concerns, or we can target it in a way where we're going for specific individuals who've had experiences. I just wanted to see what you guys felt about that.
I guess one thing I would say is there's hearing from people about their concerns, and there's also what can people do to deal with this? Because I mean, like, even if it's as simple as make sure you leave things locked, stuff like that. Don't leave laptops sitting out in the cars where people can see them. I mean, I don't know, maybe there is already literature for that, but I just wonder because, I mean, there's only so much the police can do, you know,
Right.
to prevent stuff.
Well, and people get comfortable in a small town.
Yeah.
Maybe Chief Jenkins knows an officer who wouldn't mind doing a presentation on things. at
Yeah,
this meeting.
that's what I was thinking as you were talking about that. You know, we have some officers that are trained in particularly like environmental design issues that are help to prevent crimes or crime opportunities. And so I think it would be good to hear, you know, in this conversation about, you know, some of those things and just some precautions that we could all take to lessen our chances of being a crime victim.
That'd be great.
I think something I see kind of going along with this idea, zooming out a little further, is that's kind of the idea of theming up your meetings. And the idea that you can focus on a hot topic or a current issue to help engage more of the public. And perhaps it becomes a consistent annual topic where we're visiting the theft forum or whatever it may be, just to help have a more continual conversation that you can track on year to year or something like that too. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to reach out.
Because the other thing is, I mean, it's like if we know, like, say a police officer is coming to a presentation or something, then if you can get the word out, I would think that might provide a reason for people to say, oh, I want to come to that, you know, or something. So, I don't know.
Or click on a video when there's a link
That's true.
for a PSA.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah.
No, good point. I like the idea of theming the meetings, you know, like each month has a different theme, and maybe even just keep up with it annually, because Pullman does have a rotating population. College students come in, they're here for a few years, they leave.
One other thing I'd like to add in my experience with that, there was a credit card laying on the counter that my husband had used and had not put back in my purse. Computers, I mean, nothing was taken. There were guns in there. Nothing was ransacked. They came in through a window, went immediately to change. They got maybe $40 worth of change, is all. You know, and my underwear drawer had been fondled, which I didn't appreciate, but they did find a little piggy bank that had a bunch of silver dollars in it, or a few silver dollars in it. But anyway, I'm just saying, I think it was probably a young child that had no interest in a credit card. He just wanted some change or something. But it was still a very eye-opening thing, and we've lived in Pullman for 45 years, and that's the first time that we were ever, you know, so.
I had that same experience in Moscow. All they took was change, about $30 worth.
Really?
It happened this last fall. And there was a digital camera right there.
Yeah,
And
all kinds of things right there, but we were lucky.
So are there other themes that you guys would like to see us kind of talk about? Now that we're talking about this idea of doing themed meetings? So we have theft, maybe a meeting regarding traffic and stuff like that, and safety around traffic? I don't know.
That makes sense after Mom's weekend.
April's a good month for that. Or October.
Or March.
you could have noise and other disturbances, whether it's animals or things like that, just peripheral stuff.
Nuisances.
Yeah.
You know, it might be good also to have, like you're talking about nuisances and different things, like, for example, to have our one of our code enforcement officers come in and just talk about what they deal with and what types of things that they encounter and how they resolve them and those types of things. You know, I think that would be good for the committee to get a better understanding, and the community of kind of the different roles that we have in the police department and what they do.
Totally agree with that. I'm just getting to know code enforcement myself. Right, Steve?
You're what?
I'm just getting to know about code
Oh.
enforcement myself, so. Well, that's great. I really wanted to talk to you guys today about future meeting agendas and ways to steer that. I know Arlene kind of took a major role in doing that before me, but I'm still getting my feet wet in a sense. So, now I guess we can.
You know, before we leave that topic, can we talk about maybe some of the future meeting dates? Because I know that our scheduled meeting dates in June and July, I'm not going to be in town for those, which I can have Commander Tennant attend for me, or we can reschedule, or whatever you want to do with those.
Either way would work for me. We could move them a week back or a week forward.
And I don't know if other people, sometimes during the summer, it gets June, July, and August is sometimes a little bit tough, maybe.
Sometimes we skipped one
I think we
summer
skipped
meeting.
one, but then we've made sure to have one close to the Lentil Fest.
Right.
Right.
Skipped
So maybe
June,
skip
July, not
June and then
August.
reschedule July?
After graduation, yeah.
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 So we're all okay with putting June's meeting off and then rescheduling July's meeting?
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
So July, the week before is the 4th of July weekend, so I don't think that would be
Yeah,
good.
probably.
And the following week, July 18th, is
July 18th, does that sound okay for everyone in the room?
Works for me.
Okay, perfect, so July 18th.
And so, did we want to make the next meeting, what is it, April, the May meeting? Did we want to have that be themed around thefts and try
Yeah.
to get people here? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. If you guys are all okay with that, and then we're gonna hear from the GPSA person as well.
Okay.
Which is basically like ASWSU, but for graduate and professional students on WSU's campus. I think they would like to become more involved in these outside city committees, so it'd be good to hear from them. And then maybe for that July 18th meeting, if we could contact someone from code enforcement and see if they'd be willing to come as a guest on that day.
What if we held off the code enforcement one until September so you got the students back?
That's a good idea. And
Because
then we could,
I think the public that's going to learn the most about it would be students.
Right.
Curious what the code enforcement does, because they're the ones that are,
right,
dealing with code enforcement.
okay. And then, so on July 18th, we'll be talking mostly about the Lentil Festival.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
We could also bring the display and talk about any updates we can have on that display for the Lentil Festival.
In July.
Yeah, for the July 18th meeting.
Sounds good.
All right, so now we can go to Chief Jenkins for the police department update.
all right. So this past month, I was approached by Alternatives to Violence of the Police Executive Director and asked if I would consider joining their board of directors. And so after I met with them, I decided to do that. And so I've been appointed to the board, to ATVP. So just an FYI for that. On February 11th, I coordinated a meeting between some of my staff as well as Spokane Valley Fire and Police with some of our local law enforcement agencies and the Pullman Fire Department. Pullman Valley Fire and Police have worked together to conduct some active shooter training where they have a protocol where they move medics to forward position in an active shooter situation in order to get life-saving aid to people much more quickly than we've seen in the past. And kind of what brought this to light was a Aurora, Colorado shooting where there were a number of victims that were down, and it was a long time before they got some medical aid. And so kind of like how we revamped our training after Columbine with, it used to be we would cordon the area off and call a SWAT team in. We don't do that anymore. We now immediately try to actively engage an active shooter. So now we're working on some training to do what Spokane Valley Fire and Police have done. And so we have our active shooter instructor, Aaron Brashears, attended that meeting also, and now he's working to put together a training plan that we will work with the Pullman Fire Department to provide training to their staff and our staff, and then we'll end up, it'll culminate with an exercise with, between police and fire to exercise that training. So we're hoping to get that done hopefully this year, but it may take a little bit longer than that. In February 16th and 17th, I was asked to attend, I think I reported on this last time, a digital policing summit put on by Financial Research Associates to describe our experience with the Smart Policing Initiative grant and how the whole process all the way from application to sustainability after the grant was done. And so I did that in February. February 24th, there was a House Bill 2362 was some pending legislation regarding body-worn camera video, and what the bill proposed to do was to describe what types of videos law enforcement was required to release and what video they were not required to release, because it was an unregulated area, and what was happening is there were a lot of public records requests for basically any and all police video, and the problem was we couldn't provide it all because we had to go through and redact the parts that were prohibited from release by law, and so it consumed a lot of man hours. And so this bill was to eliminate those problems and clearly define what could and couldn't be released, and then also define who was able to get the videos for free and then who would have to pay for them. And other parts of the other provisions of the bill included what types of things have to be included in police policy with regard to body camera video. So anyway, I was asked by Association of Washington Cities to testify in front of the Senate Law and Justice Committee supporting that bill, and so I did that on February 24th. And the bill passed both the House and Senate, and then the governor signed it on April 1st, so it'll be effective June 9th. And so we'll have to make some tweaks to our policy and also come up with some new protocols on our public records release of body camera video, but it will save law enforcement agencies throughout the state a lot of man hours and costs to provide body camera video to public records requests. On March 2nd, I took part on a panel called Bridging the Gaps Forum that was hosted by Washington State University Interfraternity Council. The panel consisted of WSU administrators and community leaders, and present were members from fraternities and sororities, basically to discuss kind of expectations and concerns of Greeks. So I think that was I think that'll maybe be the first of more to come. I think it was a valuable conversation between all of the parties, and it was good to see, the Greeks kind of reaching out and looking for some direction and some dialogue. March 18th and 19th, we held records specialist interviews from the recruitment that we had. How many did we interview, Darby?
We interviewed 14.
14. And those were, I think we received 50-some applications. We eliminated some that didn't meet the minimum qualifications, and then we narrowed down the rest of them based on the qualifications that they provided. And so they were scored after the interviews, and then the way that it works with our Civil Service Commission is that we have what's called a rule of 3, so we can consider the top 3. So what we do is I will take the top 3 from the scoring and conduct a chief's interview along with Penny Rivas, our records manager, and go from there. And we'll, if we find an applicant that looks promising, then we'll go ahead and start a background investigation and move forward. If any of the top 3 don't pass the chief's interview, then I can bring in more applicants but it can only have 3 at a time that we're considering. So we have interviews scheduled tomorrow with the top 3. March 28th, I participated in a WSU Athletics Etiquette Dinner. That's an annual event that is put on by the Career Development and Community Services of WSU Athletics, and it's kind of like a, they prepare athletes for leaving the university and not being in athletics, any type of sports anymore, and kind of like how to have a job interview or how to engage in business at a meal. And so it's a fun event. They bring someone in who's actually from Enterprise Car Rental, who does this around the country and teaches people about, what plate is what and what, how not to grab the wrong water glass and things like that. So, and they sit, so I'm at a table and they'll sit criminal justice majors with me, and so from all different sports. And they have a lot of different areas that they have covered there. So that's always a really fun event. And it's good outreach for us too in the community. March 30th and 31st, we hosted critical incident training. It was an 8-hour class, and we held it on 2 separate days, and we opened it up to all the agencies in the region. Critical incident training is something you may be hearing more about. It's something that Washington State has recently made mandatory for law enforcement agencies for all of their sworn staff to be completed by 2018. So we got most of our staff through between those 2 days, and some other agencies were involved also. And there's a national push also to provide this training to law enforcement nationwide. March 30th through April 2nd, I attended the Academy of Criminal Justice Science Conference. That's an annual conference. It's mostly made up of researchers involved in criminal justice, and a lot of WSU is very involved in that academy. I made a presentation on the sustainability of our smart policing grant, and also took part in a panel discussion on challenges to technology projects. And then I attended quite a few presentations on law enforcement related research, and there's really a lot of good information, a lot of good research that's being done nationwide. Our police department employees had a Relay for Life team that benefited the American Cancer Society, and mostly thanks to Darby and Ashley Lamb, who coordinated this for us. We held a number of fundraising events leading up to the actual relay, and our team took first place in fundraising. So kudos to Darby and Ashley. This week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, which is a fancy word for dispatchers. And so they hold an annual barbecue, and you're all invited. The public is invited to attend. Excuse me. They're having it Wednesday from 11 to 2, I think. And it's at Whitcomb, which is located right off of Hopkins Road near Schweitzer. Excuse me. So if you want more details on that, let me or Darby know. But you're all welcome to attend that. It's also, I didn't write it down, National Pet
Animal Care and Control Appreciation
Week. So we issued a press release today that kind of a kudos to our code enforcement and animal control officers, as well as to Whitman County Humane Society, who we contract with to provide animal sheltering and adoption services for us. And that was posted on our website. Speaking of the website, Darby does most of our social media, and she posted some information about the escapee from Western Mental Hospital that had bought a ticket to Spokane, so he was believed to be in Spokane, which turned out to be true. So Darby posted that on our website. It's basically saying we don't have information that he's coming to Pullman, but Spokane's pretty close, so be vigilant, kind of a thing. And that had a reach of over 70,000 on Facebook, so that was really
very
It was a
good.
really good
I
post.
have a question about that. Rich said, did you guys pay to make sure more people saw it, or that
It
was
had
just
like
natural?
530 shares.
That's cool.
And we got how many more new likes too?
And we got like 140 people liked our page after we posted it.
Corey submitted the Police Advisory Committee annual report, and so I will be incorporating that in the Police Department annual report that I'm working on right now. April 13th and 14th, we're going to have, provide to our staff, it's called emotional survival training, and it's kind of like along the lines of PTSD, or just the trauma that that public safety deals with, and kind of how to deal with that. We have someone who's done the training before. He's an ex-deputy chief from Auburn Police Department in Washington that's coming to do that, and it's a couple of hour training. Then April 19th to the 21st, I'm going to be going to what's called alarm response training, and it's put on and paid for by the federal government to train emergency responders on how to respond to a nuclear accident. And so we've sent some of our staff almost every year to that, as does WSU Police Department and people that work at the nuclear reactor and Whitcomb. So there's a group of us that will be going and kind of work as a team through this training that week in April. Matt, who's not here, but he sent an email, wanted some follow-up about an inquiry he made about having me speak at the Foley Institute on campus at WSU, and so dug up my correspondence on that. So he kind of facilitated a correspondence with the people from the Foley Institute, and I was corresponding with Megan Swanson. And the last email I received from her was on January 21st, after I described kind of what topic that I thought would be good. And she asked me for some dates and times, and I told her in February, March, and April, so I gave her all those dates, and the last I heard from her was on January 21st. So I think he was interested because he has some contacts there, so I don't know if he wants to follow up, and
Okay.
maybe they didn't think the topic was too interesting. And that's all I have.
Does anyone have any questions? How did Mom's Weekend go?
So Mom's Weekend has been getting progressively better. The number of significant incidents that occur are less and less, at least within the last few years since I've been here. We had the incidents, significant incidents that we had were not involving really any moms. We had one incident at Stubblefields where their bouncers were trying to escort a subject out, and that subject assaulted one of the bouncers with a beer bottle, and he received a severe laceration to his head. We had a sexual assault reported that had occurred the night before. Right now, the victim isn't sure if they want to follow through with prosecution, so we don't have a whole lot of information on that one yet. And then it was active. I mean, it was fairly busy, but nothing else. Oh, we did have a 50-year-old male fall backwards over a railing that was about 4 feet high, but he landed on his head and received an injury, and I don't know really the extent of the injury at this point, but enough to be transported to the hospital. But nothing else of much significance that was reported.
Any other questions about anything going on? No? All right, so now I guess we can, if there's nothing else, go around with our constituencies poll. Does Richard want to start us off?
Well, I don't really have anything for Pioneer Hill, but I'd like to ask the chief, and this might be an unfair question if you want to think about it longer, but I read in the Saturday Lewiston Trib about college police forces given more long guns and so on. Now, you're the Pullman police, but we're a University community. I think that's a bad idea. On the other hand, I'm not a cop charging into some bad situation. What do you think about this?
Well, you know, I didn't read the article. I mean, my sense from just looking at the title was, it seemed to me they were talking a lot about taking unarmed campus police and making them armed. Of course, at WSU, we already have an armed police force. As far as the long guns go and the rifles, you know, our staff carries AR-15s or M16s. They're basically the same rifle. They can't go on full auto. They're only semi-auto, and we train with them regularly, and they're you know, we would use those for anything that we would require some kind of distance, or if we took them into like an active shooter situation. So I think some of the things that we've seen on college campuses with violence and active shooters, I think there's a good case for having that kind of firepower.
I'm very ambivalent, but I appreciate your comment.
Okay.
Oh, it's my turn. Cool. So this is actually going to be my last meeting. I'll be graduating May 7th. So somebody, thank you. Somebody will be taking over my position, most likely just the next community affairs director of ASWC, but I'll work that out with you all. They'll apply. Other than that, I don't really have much to report. I had a good mom's weekend, and I was actually at Stubblefields when that happened. It was pretty scary, but things seemed like they turned out okay. So.
Samantha, thank you very much for serving on the committee, and I know that you're very active in ASWSU and a lot of things on campus, and so having you here has been a real benefit to us, so
yeah,
thank you very
really
much.
Great.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. We all
Thank you. Nothing to report from Pullman High or the school district. The information I've received is that graduation will go on as it has traditionally here in Pullman, so that's in June, that first Saturday of June. So that's the big event coming up in the district, along with ongoing construction.
High school is supposed to be done here.
I don't know the timeline. They've made good progress. Technology room's done.
I don't have anything to report.
Can you give an update on how Springfest planning is going, or can you not
Yeah,
do that?
no, planning's going well. We have a safety, security, and detail meeting happening this Wednesday, so we'll have representation from the Pullman PD as well as Pullman Fire, and then WSU PD and Fire as well. Couple of environmental health and safety officials and a number of other interested individuals who want to know what exactly we're doing on that day. But that's the name of the game. We're happy to do it, and so we've got a lot of details to share with those people on Wednesday, and then one last detail meeting next week before the event on the 23rd. We were fortunate enough to receive a noise variance permit for the event, so the event's outside this year. Years past, it's had portions of it outside, and then the main event inside, but this year, to help reduce in the cost, the whole event will be hosted outside, but ending earlier than it has in the past.
Outside where?
Wilson Road, so near Ensminger Pavilion, the graduate play field in that area. But the event starts at around 2 p.m. and will go until 9:30 p.m. We have 6 performers. Half of them are local or students, and then the other half are national performers who are touring, so it's fun that they all get to share the stage together. We're really excited about the event, and hopefully it goes off flawlessly. But other than that, just want to say thank you for allowing me to join this group today. It's a pleasure to be serving the Pullman community and working alongside all of you. So, thank you.
We're happy to have you, so thank you. I am going to start distributing flyers this Sunday. So for our organization, we did those flyers a while back, and I still haven't gotten around to passing them out to different businesses. I should drop a few off with you, Justin, as well. And if anyone else wants me to, I can send you the PDF of the document if anyone wants to print them and post them in a spot that they walk by frequently. we can get that done so people.
Would you send it to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll have Darby send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And then, let's see. Pretty much other than that, I don't think I have any updates from our area. So traffic was a little crazy being on the edge of town during Mom's weekend, but it was nice to see that no crazy accidents happened in the area, so.
Business community, I got nothing to report.
Okay, and College Hill, I often have something to say about traffic. And I have something to say about traffic. We have 3 new stop signs up in the area where I live. One coming up Maple Street Extension, one hitting Garfield, and one somewhere else around there. And I think it's very helpful. I appreciate it. And other people have commented that they appreciate it also.
Those replacement stop signs are just whole new stop
Brand
signs?
new stop signs. They had nothing there before.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have nothing to report from Sunnyside Hill.
Okay, perfect. So, do we have any, well, before we go on to that, Chief Jenkins, can you talk to an officer about someone coming to talk to us about the theft and theft prevention?
Sure.
For the
Yep, I'll
next
have someone
meeting?
here.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Yeah, I have
Will
a
you please
question
stand
about
at
the
please.
dumping that occurred last summer behind our house.
Hey Steve, will you stand at the podium so people on the mic can hear you?
I don't think it's on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had a question about the dumping that occurred behind our house last summer, and the piles are still there, and I was just wondering, I know that
They're
code
still
enforcement. Yeah, code enforcement was on it, but just hasn't been cleaned up yet, but no additional dumping has occurred, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, there was, well, it took a while to figure out who was actually responsible for it between the homeowners association and the developer. And then I actually think the development company is changing hands. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that it's still there. So let me, I will follow up on that again.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for reporting that.
That's all.
Thank you.
Yep.
I think it's recording through the mic, so that way viewers can hear their questions.
Gotcha.
Okay, so unless anyone else has anything else, I think we are good. We're gonna have a busy next meeting, so.
My only question I would ask is, anyway, thoughts on getting out to people that we are having a meeting on theft?
Yeah, so that is a very good thing to talk about. I thought about posting a few times on Facebook throughout the next month and coordinating with Darby to get help with that.
Yeah, but on just like your personal Facebook or on the Pullman
On
PD?
the police department's Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can create something that people can share, and I can create that. And, you know, Darby does a great job of sharing things for us. So.
Could we put it in the daily news, they have briefs and they have announcements of upcoming activities, and we could put that this, it's a regular meeting, but it's a special presentation on theft awareness and prevention.
Right, yeah, we should do
Somebody
that.
could, I think you have to submit it about a week ahead.
The community update have already been edited and completed prior to.
So we're talking about May's meeting, yeah, that May's deadline is like the first part of April.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we could also send that information to KQQQ radio, and it would probably announce it too.
Yeah, and the chamber calendar, you can
Oh, the
submit
chamber
things on there
calendar.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get something posted on
What about the student radio station?
pardon me?
The student radio station.
Yeah, the student radio station would be a good idea, to do that as well, so.
Ninth will be a high volume student day time.
maybe the graduate students, but yeah. Maybe next year we'll coordinate it so that it'll be in April. So this year we'll do it in May, but next year we'll do the theft month in April. Or is there like a national theft awareness something month, you know?
There are a lot of awareness months,
Probably,
but
yeah.
There's probably something, yeah.
There's probably theft of laptops from vehicle
there's
awareness
crime,
month.
like crime prevention month is
Yeah.
that's a month.
Yeah. When's crime prevention month?
I can't remember, but I can tell you, I have it on my
Okay.
handy little social media cheat sheet.
Perfect. Maybe next year maybe then we'll do it then. So, yeah, we'll come up with different ways to get that out there, and I'll contact some people as well. We'll share something on the Facebook, and then maybe they'll be listening to this on YouTube and hear about it. So. All right. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor? All right, we're done.